Hello, everyone, in Salbana. I'm Byron F. Wilson. Now, if you see me looking down from time to time, it's because I'm checking my notes to make sure I don't leave anything out, not because someone's feeding me a script. Now, before we even start this, please understand that I'm coming from a place of love, but sometimes the people who love us have to tell us some hard truths. Now, as you know, part of our Phase 1 initiative involves us only buying from Black owned restaurants. But if you recall, it is also our mandate that we will only patronize equitable services. In simple terms, we're not going to buy from you if you can't offer the same quality and service that we can get elsewhere. Speaking as a Black business owner, I understand that it is my job to satisfy a need, and I have to compete for business by how well I satisfy that need. If I don't do a good job, I don't survive. So I think it's time we talk about the responsibilities that Black businesses have to us. Now, the reality is that to some degree, we lack confidence in Black businesses. And I'm not talking about white people, I'm talking about Black people lack confidence in Black-owned businesses. Now, if we are to meet our Phase 1 initiatives, I can't sit here and act like there's not a good reason for that. I have listened to countless members of the How We Fight movement. And this movement is about action. So I wanted to take your concerns, express your concerns, and most importantly, I wanted to help our Black businesses to address your concerns. Now, before we talk about what Black businesses need to fix, it is imperative that we acknowledge the psychological construct that we've all been injected with. If you take a look back at U.S. slavery in the 1800s, in most cases, Blacks outnumbered whites in the South. So then you ask yourself, well then, why didn't we just overpower them? Why did we remain slaves? Well, it's simple. Slavery isn't really as much physical as it is psychological. Why do you think they gave you the image of God as a white man? Why do you think they gave you the image of Jesus as a white man? It doesn't even make sense that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man would be walking around the Middle East, but they gave you that image for a reason. They wanted you to relate purity, leadership, goodness, and power to a white man. We've been conditioned to believe that white is better. And as a result, many of us subconsciously believe that white businesses are better than Black businesses. If we can't accept that, we may have that subconscious mentality, then we'll never be able to overcome it. Now, that being said, there are some very real business practice deficiencies that we need to address, and the first being customer service. Now, since our Phase 1 initiative involves exclusively patronizing Black-owned restaurants, I'll refer to restaurants throughout this discussion. So let's take Chick-fil-A, for example. Now, they make a pretty good chicken sandwich, but that's not really why they're successful. The real reason they're successful is because they emphasize and prioritize customer service. Our Black-owned businesses have to offer great customer service, maybe even more so than their white counterparts. Here are some specific examples of poor customer service that have been relayed to me. First, not being greeted when I come into your restaurant. I'm coming to give you my money, just acknowledge me. Next, servers, greeters, or cashiers acting as if I'm a burden rather than a customer. You're being paid to be here. Why are you mad? Unpleasant staff. You'd be surprised how far just a smile would go. Separate emotion from constructive criticism. If a customer complains about an aspect of your restaurant, try to remove your emotion. I know that restaurant is your baby, and we have no idea the sacrifices that you had to make to get this restaurant off the ground. But when people point out flaws in our business, it makes us better because we then have the opportunity to address those flaws. Furthermore, it is still up to you as to whether or not you even find the criticism to be valid. Time matters. I truly despise the term CP time, because it implies that it's somehow acceptable for Black people to have no respect for time. This is particularly problematic when it comes to running a business. If I Google your business and it says you open at 8 o'clock, open at 8 o'clock. Not 8:05, not 8:15, 8 o'clock. Because quiet is kept, that white business, they're going to open at 8 o'clock. And if your website says you close at 9, please don't let me go down to your restaurant at 8:30 and you're closed. If your hours have changed due to COVID-19, that's understandable. But your website and Google should reflect that. It's a simple edit. And keep reasonable hours. One of my favorite Black-owned restaurants has been closing at 6 p.m. since COVID-19. But that's even on the weekends. Now, who's trying to eat dinner by 6 o'clock, especially on the weekend? So either provide a service or not, Black-owned restaurants. Don't give times you can't deliver. Personal story. I ordered online at a Black-owned restaurant just this past weekend. The food, by the way, was fantastic. But I ordered it online and it said that it would be ready at 7:41. So I figured, let me give it a few extra minutes. I go inside at 7:45 to pick up my order. The cashier tells me that my order won't be ready for another 20 to 25 minutes. So then she says to me, oh, it just says that online, but you ordered a lot of food. That was her explanation. Now, as a customer, I'm looking around. There isn't really a crowd, and there seem to be enough staff. So now, again, as a customer, I don't understand what the challenge is. And lastly, don't price gouge us. I know there may be a temptation to overcharge because you know we're going to be exclusively supporting Black-owned restaurants. And to be fair, I realize that because in the cases of some of your smaller Black-owned restaurants, you simply can't get your products at prices as low as the franchises or larger restaurants because they can buy in bulk. But you have to understand that as the consumer, I don't know or care about that. All I know is I have $10 and I know what that $10 gets me at your restaurant versus another's. Now, of course, we have to compare apples to apples. And what I mean by that is many times a Black-owned restaurant will say, this is a little more expensive because of the higher quality of the products that I'm using. And that may be the case. So then it's up to the restaurant to effectively convey that they're using higher quality products so that the cost is justified. Now, all of this is a two-way street. We can't expect Black-owned businesses to give us a discount because we're both Black. We can't cheat our Black-owned businesses out of charging what the market demands. So, for example, there are some outstanding, very successful Black-owned vegan restaurants in Atlanta. And a vegan wrap may cost $20 or more. Now, to me, $20 is a lot for a wrap, but I pay it because that's what the market has proven people are willing to pay for that wrap. So I'm not going to cheat the Black-owned restaurant when I wouldn't necessarily do the same to a white-owned restaurant. If we don't like the service we receive, and this is very important, we cannot simply complain amongst ourselves and then not return to that restaurant. Let the management know as calmly as possible that you've had a negative experience. Give them a chance to address the problem. The negative experience could be the result of one bad employee. And had you simply made your grievance known to the management, that problem could have been addressed and you could have continued to enjoy that service. And finally, as mentioned in the 2-point plan phase 1 video, we cannot let one bad experience with even 1 or 2 Black-owned restaurants deter us from patronizing other Black-owned restaurants. Let's simply reward the restaurants who reward us with a great product and a great service. The bottom line is that if we are really going to make the change we seek, we as a community have to hold each other accountable. This message wasn't about putting us down. It was about lifting us up. Now, on this Wednesday, a couple days from now, on June 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll host a Zoom webinar for Black business owners so that you can give your feedback, ask questions, and we can be a bit more detailed about how to overcome some of the specific challenges that you may face as a Black business owner. This way, we can all improve together. If you have not subscribed to our email list, you will not get an invitation to the webinar. So go to our website at how-we-fight.com and sign up where it reads Stay Informed. You'll get a request to verify your email. If you don't verify that email, we cannot send you the Zoom invitation. And remember to keep eating exclusively at Black-owned restaurants and encourage everyone you know to do the same. I'm Byron F. Wilson, and this is How We Fight.